Our next speaker, the ugly duckling, Khamphoy Sayavong. Khamphoy Sayavong, the ugly duckling.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. It was a beautiful summer day, and the wheat was brown, golden brown, and the oats were green. And as you stare out into the prairie, in the horizon, you saw a red barn next to a slow-moving stream. And next to the stream, on the banks of the stream, were lush green bushes. And underneath one of the bushes was a mother duck and her 6 eggs. 5 white eggs and 1 big gray one. The mother couldn't understand why she had a big gray egg in her nest. Nonetheless, she loved all of them the same, so she patiently sat upon her nest and waited for the eggs to hatch. All of a sudden, she heard the sound of hatching eggs. One by one, the chicks hatched. All 5 golden yellow ones, except for the big gray one. The yellow chicks peeked their heads out and began to peep. Beep, 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 beep. And the mother and the 5 chicks turned to stare at the big gray egg and wondered, how come that one's not hatching yet? And then as they stared intently at the big gray egg, you heard a big there was a big crack, and out popped a gray, ugly duckling. All the siblings and the mother was shocked. Why are you so ugly? Why aren't your feathers beautiful golden like ours? Why are your feet so big? As you can see, the siblings were not very kind and gentle on the ugly duckling, and nor were the other farm animals. He had to endure merciless teasing and mocking by the other farm animals as well. And when he had decided he had enough of that, he decided to set out into the world beyond the prairie. He found a flock of wild ducks and geese to live amongst. But that didn't last very long. The hunters came by and killed all the geese and ducks. And as the gray, ugly duckling walked down the path, he saw an old lady and her hen and cat. The old lady came over to the ugly duckling and held it in her hand and decided, I'm going to take this duckling home so that it can live with me. And as she took it home, she placed it underneath her rocking chair. And there, he endured more teasing and mocking by the hen and the cat. Why are you so ugly? Aren't ducks bright and yellow and glowing? Why are you gray and ugly? And why are your beak so stouted? And again, the merciless teasing and mocking made him feel really sad. And that evening, he decided to flee the house. In the morning, he saw a flock of flying, migrating swans, and he got so excited, he wanted to join them. And then as he looked down at his wings, he realized he was too young to fly. The winter was setting, and the lake was beginning to freeze over. As the ugly duckling walked on the banks of the frozen lake, a farmer came by and saw the ugly duckling and decided to take him home with him. He picked up the ugly duckling and put it in his coat jacket to keep it warm. He thought his children would have fun and play and take care of the duckling. But as he got home, he took out the duckling and set him on the floor. And the children were running around wild, rambunctious, and ruckus and noisy. And the farmer saw it had frightened the ugly duckling. And that evening, again, the duckling made his way out into the world. He didn't think he can live with rambunctious, noisy kids. That winter, he spent the miserable cold winter in a cave near the lake. When spring arrived, he saw a flock of beautiful white swans descend on the lake. Now that the ugly duckling has fully grown and matured, he decided that he wanted to end his life of hardship and loneliness. And he thought about throwing himself into the flock of the beautiful white swans, so that if he were to die, he'd rather die by the hands of these beautiful white swans. But as he threw himself into the lake, he realized the swans had accepted him. And he was surprised. He didn't know why. And he looked around. Then he looked down, and he saw his reflection. And he saw that he was a beautiful white swan, like those that surrounded him. And then as the swan lifted up and took to flight, the beautiful white swan that was once an ugly duckling took flight with his new family. Some of you may not know, but Hans Christian Andersen wrote this fairy tale, folk tale, in 1842. And when asked, he did say that this story was a reflection of his own life. He grew up a tall boy with big nose and big feet, and he endured a lot of teasing and mocking by the children in his neighborhood. But within him lived a talent of a beautiful voice, and he had a passion for theater. Subjected to the cruelty of the neighborhood kids mocking and teasing, he learned to be still and learn to accept the beautiful voice that was inside him. And historians actually found that he may have been the illegitimate son of a priest, of a prince. Later became the King Christian VIII of Denmark. And the metaphor of the ugly duckling was not just about appreciating and finding your inner beauty and talent, but it was actually a secret of the royal lineage.